Let's say hunker down.
Hunker down.
Hunker down, y'all.
Hunker down.
Hunker down. Hunker down.
Hunker down.
Hunker down.
Hunker down.
Okay, and if everything went according to plan, you just heard the Freebird Rules soundtrack.
Oh, not that one. A different Freebird.
This is a different Freebird this time.
It's not Leonard Skinner Freebird.
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's this is actually a different Freebird from the way we Freebirded before. You've never Freebirded like this.
I have never Freebirded like this before.
This is your maiden voyage as a Freebird.
Yes. Yes. Here we go. I'm excited. I'm ready to party.
What's happening this time is...
this is the Hunker Downcast.
Oh, hi. Welcome to the Hunker Downcast.
It's a podcast.
It's a thing that we do upon occasion. Sometimes we try to do it every week. I'm Jeff. And
I'm Alli.
And because of the music that you just heard, we are doing this according to Varg. It's the Freebird style, Freebird rules. Freebird
rules.
It's some kind of
it's a wrestling thing
reference that some of the audience gets, and only 1/3 of the co-hosts actually get. So. And that person is not here tonight, so it's me and Alli doing Freebird rules for you.
Ta-da!
Yeah, congrats. Wait, is it like a? It's a.
From what I could tell on Wikipedia, there was a trio of wrestlers in the '80s called the Freebird Team or something, and whenever they would, sometimes all three of them would wrestle, and sometimes it would be just two of them, and then they played that music or something.
Okay.
But I don't know.
But you know, here Lance told me. So you didn't know which two were coming at you.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
And so it was like a strategy thing.
So sorry, everybody, if you expected Varg here tonight, he's not. Surprise! It's me and Jeff.
But that's the spirit of Freebird. There it is.
There it is.
Yeah. Suddenly, I'm a wrestler.
We're all wrestlers deep down inside, somewhere.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Whatever.
So we've got some things to talk about, right?
Yeah.
There was an election. That was pretty exciting.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Actually, it was very exciting.
It was a great election.
Where were you on election night? Oh, you weren't even in the country. Were you in the country on election night?
Yeah.
So you were here. You were back by the time
I was back. I voted.
So we actually... my memory is so bad now. So we actually talked about this before voting time.
Yes.
Like what was going to happen and everything. That's right, because you sang a song about it and everything.
Well, I sang a song.
I forgot about that.
I sang a song about Bobby Jindal, but...
Bobby Jindal factored in the election.
He did. He dropped out right before the election so that David Vitter would not be in the headlines.
That was a gangster move by Bobby Jindal, by the way.
It really was.
I would like to thank Bobby Jindal for basically helping to win the election for John Bel Edwards this time around.
Does that mean you're officially endorsing Bobby Jindal's press team?
Yes.
Okay.
They can get, well, maybe not all of them.
Which teeple is your favorite?
Pick your favorite teeple. There's grumpy teeple. There's sleepy teeple.
Yep. There's smarmy teeple.
Smarmy teeple. There's Jesus-y teeple.
Oh God.
They're all Jesus-y teeple.
I think they all are. Yeah. Well, and now John Bel Edwards is our governor-elect, holed up on what I'm only assuming is the 13th floor of Kirby Smart Hall at LSU.
I don't think I think it's the 12th floor.
Ah.
I think that's what they said.
I was really hoping it'd be 13. I don't know why.
There aren't. Well, God, so long ago.
So Jeff is a former resident of this very building that John Bel Edwards is now planning his transition in.
I was a 4-year resident.
Whoa!
I stayed in
That's
the
some
dorm.
Notre Dame shit right there, living in the same dorm for all 4 years.
That's some They do that at Notre Dame too?
Yeah, absolutely. Like,
So-
most people just stay in the same dorm for 4 years.
Oh, but most of them do.
Yeah, like 85%.
Whoa.
Yeah, they're like your surrogate fraternity or sorority type deal. Go, because they're all single-sex dorms.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, Kirby was a single-sex dorm.
Oh,
At least when I was there, it was. I have no idea what goes on.
back in the Bronze Age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
So on the LSU campus, there is this frightening tower of hell on the north side of the campus called Kirby Smart Hall.
Is it named after a Confederate?
Yeah.
Okay. Just
It's named
checking.
after Confederate General.
Sort of like Raphael Semmes Drive.
Something like that. The reason, actually, Tyler Bridges wrote that in one of the election roundups.
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
He was writing about the transition team, and just for whatever reason, he throws in,
Just-
by the way,
Just to twist the knife a little bit.
I don't know what knife he's twisting, though. Like, he's like...
Somebody in Covington, probably, who
Just-
who voted for Vitter and is really pissed off about the monuments and voted for Vitter because John Bel Edwards is going to destroy history in New Orleans.
Oh,
and-
God, I hope so.
Right?
I can't wait to destroy history.
I'm so excited.
Because history is so bad.
It really is terrible.
Pretty much everything that's happened has been just the worst.
I went to go type Twitter into my browser, and I accidentally started typing terrible.
That's not a Freudian slip, even. That's just
Nope.
too obvious.
Nope. Terrible.com turns out does not bring you to Twitter.
Oh, it doesn't. I would have
No.
thought that they would have bought that URL.
They should have.
Because
What is terrible.com? Now I really want to know.
terrible.com. Sometimes I try to log into Twitter as Twitter on accident because I'm just typing the URL into the...
It's a fake link farm thing. Well,
God
so
damn
somebody get on that. Terrible.com. I think that has a lot of
It's
potential.
currently a terrible website.
It's the onomatopoeia of the internet.
It's worse than the hayride.
Oh, God. Is such a thing even possible?
It might be. Oh, by the way, I haven't checked. Let's check. Well, I'm not... Again, tonight's episode of Hunger Downcast is dramatic people checking the internet for stuff.
Alli and Jeff read the internet and talk about it. So it's basically like hanging out with us any other time of ever.
Right, pretty much. I mean, that's what we were doing for like 20 minutes before this started. Oh, no, the answer is the hayride still exists as a website.
Ah! Damn it.
I don't know if Scott McKay has posted anything lately. I do know that McKay was very adamant just in the days leading up to the election and just after the election. He had a sad about the results and whether or not he himself wanted to live in this state anymore.
Oh yeah, he was going to move to Texas.
Yeah, he was going to self-deport,
to
which is
the independent Republic of Texas.
much like a Syrian refugee.
Oh God.
Was going to head off. But no, as far as I could tell, he hasn't left yet.
Okay.
So,
Well, I hope he'll let the Hunker Downcast know when his house goes up for sale so that we can share the listing with all our friends and help get that sucker sold right away. We're all about the free real estate market here. We want to help this guy out.
yeah, well, and if you know any realtors in Texas,
There's no real estate in Texas. What are you talking about?
Oh, there's nothing but real estate in Texas.
That's the joke.
McKay leaving town. McKay is not the only person leaving town, by the way. At the end, as a result of this election, there's like a whole bunch of people are getting out. Bobby Jindal's on his way out as his parting gift to us, as his from Hell's Heart I stab at the moment. Bobby Jindal ruined David Vitter's press conference. We're just babbling about this, but what happened a couple days before the election was, the Syrian refugee thing is blowing up, and David Vitter is trying to milk it for all it was worth. It turns out it wasn't worth anything.
No,
but
because Vitter got creamed.
got creamed, so
He got his ass beat. was beautiful.
But for a moment, people thought, well, he's going to try and ride this, and I was even upset about it. I thought that maybe it was going to work, and because Vitter was pushing it hard. Every ad that you saw every 5 minutes on the newscast was, I don't know, John Bel Edwards is personally operating a boat to bring more refugees here, and Barack Obama is, giving them all like free candy or something like that. There's a lot of refugees.
Obama phones, probably.
Right.
Yeah. And assault weapons, because now we need gun control, but only for Syrian refugees.
Right. I mean, and that's how you know.
Yeah.
That's how you limit it. What the hell was I talking about? Oh, so Bobby Jindal. So Vitter was going to have a press conference about this. He was he was ready to roll with this big press conference about everything that you saw in the ads.
Yeah. And
the day before he was able to do that, Jindal rolled out his plan to save the state budget. Because Jindal announced that he was quitting the presidential race, rushed back to Louisiana, and immediately did some governing. Like he just hello, I'm gonna. By the way, here's how we're gonna fix the budget. Let's all talk about the budget this week in election week.
He's the Sebastian St. Clair from BoJack Horseman of budgeting.
Wait. Okay, explain that a little bit.
So on BoJack Horseman, which is a cartoon on Netflix, Sebastian St. Clair, this is in season 2, is a loose parody of Sean Penn as some sort of like famous guy who parachutes into disaster areas and says, I want you to see me helping these people. And so this is what Bobby did, right? He parachutes into Louisiana and says, I want you to watch me fix this budget.
I'm going to do some math.
But he's not actually fixing anything. It was just papering over a sinkhole, which is just a really apt metaphor in so many ways.
Which is what we have to look forward to in the next session, in the special session. But
my only consolation is that what's his name from Louisiana Budget Project is on the transition team. I think that's a very good sign.
Which one of them? Jan Moeller?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Very excited about that.
I'm not surprised to hear that.
I respect Louisiana Budget Project tremendously, and I think that's a very good sign.
Which room in Kirby Smith is he staying in? If you want to know what his extension is.
You're the one who lived there. I don't know their numbering system.
Kirby Smith, just to be clear, is a hellhole of a dorm on the campus of Louisiana State University, where the governor to be is.
Yeah, we went over this.
I know, but we didn't really say it was a dorm, did we? I don't know.
Everyone, I feel like most of our listeners went to LSU anyway, so all three of them.
Kirby Smith.
But do you think they've renovated it since you were there?
I think so. Well, what I've learned since we were talking about this is
probably put in the internet.
Yeah, they have internet. Okay. I think.
Maybe. Does Baton Rouge have internet?
No, it's all in Lafayette. You have to go to Lafayette to use the internet.
Yeah, right.
But I think they have it all upgraded with you have to have a card to get in, and
whoa,
you have to sign in the girls and stuff, and it's all yeah.
Oh well, now we're getting into some real Notre Dame shit right there.
That's scary. I mean, it's
yeah. I mean, because I feel like we're doing deja vu here because we're just going over this again and again. No, at Notre Dame we had rules called parietals where men could not be in women's dorms and vice versa between certain hours of the evening.
Yeah, no, that was the case at LSU when I was there.
Okay.
Except that it was enforced strictly in the women's dorms. Mm-hmm. Which, I mean...
And not in the men's dorms?
Not at all.
Okay, see, It was similar. When I was there, they had security guards only for the women's dorms during parietals and then not at the men's dorms.
Okay.
So there was literally somebody guarding all of our virginities, presumably.
Oh, thank God for that.
At the door. Like, a guard at the door. And then they changed that after my freshman year, I think. And then it was, no guards for anybody. So that was nice.
Yeah, it's even better.
That was some good stuff. So anything else on politics or Notre Dame dorm rules
No, but
before we move on.
I am grateful to Bobby Jindal for changing the subject in the middle of election week. He made David Vitter talk about the budget instead of talking about Syrian refugees, and that kind of blunted the David Vitter refugee charge.
Yeah, it reminded everybody of how much they hated Bobby Jindal and how much David Vitter was exactly like Bobby Jindal. So that was great.
It reminded some people of that, I guess.
Enough people for John Bel to win by 1 billion votes or however many it was.
It wasn't 1 billion votes. It wasn't
Damn.
quite a billion. It was like almost 1 billion.
Okay.
It was like, was it 56 to 44, I think is what
I think
it was.
so.
It was slightly more than what I thought it would be, or what I thought it could be.
It was a 10-plus point victory.
I thought there was a range. I thought that if Vitter won, if it was going to go to Vitter, which is what I was freaking out and saying the last day. I was like, oh, God, here's what's going to happen. Vitter's going to win by like 1 vote.
Right.
I thought that if Vitter wins, it would be, 50.4 to, 49 point whatever. And if John Bel won, it would be that, or it would be as many as 55, or he would have 54.
Yeah.
He actually exceeded even that, and it was really something of a rout. And the lesson from all of that is everybody hates David Vitter, and David Vitter is a disgrace to humanity, and he is no longer with us. R.I.P. David Vitter.
Well, let's give thanks to that and talk about our Thanksgiving break.
Oh, you want to talk about Thanksgiving?
I do.
Okay.
Because I'm really thankful for a lot of things, but
Okay.
But mostly I just want to talk about food.
All right. Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Well, I didn't have to cook the main everything this year, which was really nice. But I did do some really good sides.
Where were you? Were you here or were you elsewhere?
I was here. We had just traveled to Asia and stuff, so we didn't travel, even though both of our families live elsewhere.
Yeah, I was wondering if y'all were going to have to pack right back up and go.
Hell no. Hell no. We basically didn't leave the apartment for the whole weekend, except on Thanksgiving Day we went to my friend's house on the North Shore. So that was really nice. They had...
It was like going to Asia again.
Yeah, with more pine trees.
Okay.
And a longer bridge. They had 2 fried turkeys, which believe it or not, I had never had fried turkey before. But he had injected them with the Cajun injector butter stuff before frying them, and it was, honest to God, the best turkey I've ever had. Someone else made stuffed melitons, which were great. I brought cornbread dressing, which I had some andouille from Bailey's and Laplace in my freezer, so I thawed that out and used that. That's really, really, really good andouille. Laplace is apparently the andouille capital of the world.
Yeah, Laplace is andouille. In fact, we could do a map of Louisiana and tell you what is the capital of the world.
Yeah.
Gonzales is the jambalaya capital of the world.
So I've heard.
Laplace is the andouille capital of the world. And I think Opelousas is the sweet potato capital of the world.
That's fair.
Many of the world capitals are all of food are,
they're all here.
within your state borders. So
we're among royalty all the time.
The United Nations of that stuff. Yeah.
Well,
anyway.
So the way I do cornbread dressing is this is going to be like our extended recipe minutes.
Yeah, fine. It's cool.
I do cornbread dressing with andouille, and it's loosely based on a recipe from the Times-Picayune. I just do a big mess of peppers and onions and combine that with, cornbread and sausage and stock and a couple eggs and some seasonings and bake it. And so it ends up being really peppery, which I really like. And that was great. And I also made onion casserole, which is...
There's no Louisiana onion capital of the world.
No, but there's got to be like a Vidalia festival of some kind, right? I guess it's more of a Georgia thing.
Okay.
But onion casserole is a super, I'm guessing, super Midwestern thing, since it's very, very dairy.
Very dairy.
Very dairy. It's my mom's recipe, and basically you caramelize a ton of... I tweeted out the recipe from the Hunker Downcast account.
I saw it.
So this was actually my first time making it, although not my first time eating it. But I had no idea how, deeply unhealthy this recipe is. It's like nothing but onions, butter, milk, cream, and cheese.
That's what the holidays are
And
all
Ritz
about.
crackers.
That's what the holidays are all about. Everything that we did, we ran out of butter.
Yeah. I had to go out for butter. I had to go out for a couple for heavy cream.
Yeah.
Yep.
Those are the go-tos. That's you were just applying those items to whatever foods you can find, but it's mostly that, and also bacon grease. I got to a point when I was doing melotons this year.
Okay.
And that heavily involves bacon.
And shrimp, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, I mean there's shrimp, but it's bacon. And I fried up a pound of bacon to do it, and it got to a point where I'm in the pot where there's bacon grease.
Your big cast iron Dutch oven?
Yeah. So there's like a bacon grease was about like an inch deep.
Oh!
And you're just
frying the bacon in bacon.
Right, basically. You're throwing bacon into the bacon grease. It's fried bacon in bacon grease.
It's bacon confit.
Something like that. And then.
So we also had some folks over on Friday after Thanksgiving, and we decided to grill some ribeyes for that. So those are really good. And then we heated up the sides, and I made some mashed potatoes. And I got really excited about these mashed potatoes. Because when I was a kid up in Michigan, there was this restaurant that did mashed potatoes, but they were a mixture of regular and sweet potatoes. And I always thought that was really good.
Huh.
And especially if you combine it with, what I did was I roasted a bunch of garlic and mashed that in there too, and then added some sage and butter and heavy cream. It was delicious.
I wonder what the point of putting regular potatoes and mashed and sweet potatoes together is. I mean, you have a sweet potato is.
I think it's so that you can
a sweet potato.
I mean, I'm a person who likes to mix sweet and savory in pretty much any dish. You know, like I love salted caramel. I love. Like just like apples and pork. I love mixing sweet and savory together. I'm not like a purely dessert person, although I do like more fries for dessert sometimes. That's my favorite thing. But so I think the appeal with mashed potatoes when you mix a little sweet in there is that you don't have to make like mashed sweet potatoes. It doesn't have to be a purely sweet dish. You can, and you don't have to put all the pumpkin spice mix, like nutmeg, cinnamon, clove in there and shit. You can just, you can add a little bit of depth of flavor to it, especially if you throw something, some savory stuff like the roasted garlic and the sage in there. It worked really well.
Good.
I'm going to do it again.
All right.
And then I did make a pie, too.
What was that? What kind of a pie?
I made a chocolate cream pie.
Oh.
The Thanksgiving traditional chocolate cream pie.
I was going to say there aren't any sweet potatoes in that.
No, there aren't.
As far as I know.
No, but I made it like really dark chocolate. It was great.
It sounds great.
Yeah. So you did the melotons.
Oh, yeah. So
did you do anything else?
I did everything.
Okay. You did a bird?
Yeah, well, actually, okay, that's not fair. I did everything except for the turkey. I went over to, we do it at my folks' house, obviously, because I don't have like a, I live, in my adult life, I live in the adult version of Kirby Smart Hall. That's my apartment today is basically my dorm room from LSU, but with like, a kitchen, kind of.
And your wife and
and
your cat.
Sure, they're there too, so we have to make room for them.
Yeah.
Whatever. That's why you buy those little shelves you get at Walmart. The little plastic things. You just shove them in.
Okay.
But we make it work. But I don't have it's not an apartment where you would host like Thanksgiving dinner a lot, I guess. So we do this at my folks' house, and I do most of the cooking. But you asked me if I did the bird. Dad does the bird.
Okay.
Because he does a really good job of it, and because I'm doing everything else under the sun.
How does he do it?
The way you normally, the way people do. You brine it overnight, and you put it in the bag, and with the sage and the thyme and the stuff, and
and then in the oven.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
that's.
One year my parents did it on the grill, but mostly because the oven wasn't big enough for the bird that they bought, and so they had to my dad somehow rigged it so that the grill was on like a super low heat. So they basically rigged the grill to be like an oven, and then they had like a roasting pan with a bunch of water in it, so it would like steam and I don't know. It worked.
Wow.
It worked. It was pretty good.
That's really unusual. One year, and I can't remember if this was Christmas or Thanksgiving, we had the turkey going in the oven, and for some reason, Dad decided he was going to grill a duck.
Hey!
So we had I must have had a lot of people over that year. So we had grilled duck, and we had roasted turkey, and so there was a lot of that left over, and I had the carcasses from both of those items.
Oh.
And I also just serendipitously, happened to have bought a rotisserie chicken a couple days before.
Yeah.
And that was still in the fridge.
So you had turducken.
So I made turducken gumbo.
In its component parts.
Yes.
Oh, man, that sounds delicious.
the combined carcasses of those animals, the smoked duck, the roasted turkey, and the rotisserie chicken. And I had meat and carcasses of all those animals, and I made a big gumbo out of it.
Oh, my God.
To this day, it's probably my favorite thing that I've ever done in the kitchen. And I'll never replicate it, because when are you going to have all those items together? Unless you purposely set out to do that. So,
you got to have some goals for 2016, Jeff. I know it's maybe a little too soon to start thinking about our New Year's resolutions, but I think turducken gumbo is a really fucking good resolution to have.
Yeah, about that. We've been there. We visited that plane. We could move on to other things, I suppose.
My best gumbo I've actually made at my mom's house, or my parents' house, a couple years ago, when my mom roasted 2 turkeys, and in the oven this time. But I got to use all of the pan drippings, because she made the gravy from only a little bit of the pan drippings, so the rest we chilled overnight in the fridge so that I could scoop out all of that like meat jelly. And I threw
jelly.
Yeah, and I threw that right in the stock. And so the stock actually was almost gelatinous. It was so thick, and it had so much of the bone marrowy goodness.
Jelly.
Yeah, the jelly.
Bone jelly.
And so that was like the richest, best turkey broth ever. And so there was really no way I could screw up anything that I made with it. And I made turkey gumbo, and I used it as the stock for chicken and dumplings, and I cooked all of those for like what I like to call bonus Thanksgiving, which is when I'm home and my cousins come over the Saturday after Thanksgiving, and we all watch football all day. And Notre Dame beat Southern Cal to go to the national championship that day that I made the good food. So that was
super extra bonus.
It was a great day. It was amazing. So yeah. Good times. I didn't get a carcass this year. That's the bad thing about about not making the bird.
Yeah.
So I didn't have. That's why we made steaks, because I couldn't make gumbo. I didn't have anything. I didn't have any stock.
That's okay.
But that year that this is a funny story. Sorry, everybody. The year that I did make that the meat jelly stock, my cousins were so shocked that I could cook. I guess I hadn't come home and cooked anything ever before. They were so shocked. And my cousin Abby said to me, she was like, "Alli, don't you remember, this is just a long way from that time that you buried the turkey in the backyard during your vegetarian phase."
You did what?
And I had totally blocked this from my memory.
Wait.
When I was in high school, or 9th grade, I was a vegetarian.
Okay.
Because I read something by Peter Singer, and it became, You
went through that moment.
I went through that Peter Singer, Morrissey, I'm a vegetarian, meat is murder phase.
Sure.
And I was so sad that we were having a turkey that I took. After we'd carved it up and ate it, I took the turkey carcass and buried it in the backyard as a protest.
So, okay. All right. How old were you again?
Like 13.
All right. So not quite Lisa Simpson, but...
Yeah! Exactly.
All right. So you did it. You took the turkey, buried it in the backyard.
Apparently. I had totally
so this is what I'm getting at. You're above the age of 10... So you're living your actual kind of sort of life as a person.
Sort of.
And you
forgot... I'm still in the suburbs, so...
You forgot that this happened.
Yeah.
How do you forget that something like that happens?
I don't know. There's a lot that I blacked out from that time.
What did they do to you?
I don't know. There's a reason I left and moved here.
Wait, to get away from the family of the turkey or the
The turkey had followed me. No,
was it a pet cemetery?
No.
Like the turkey has risen and followed you?
Behind my parents' house at the time, there was like a farm field. So we lived in the suburbs, but we lived right near this farm where they grew spinach and green onions. And
so it wasn't like an Indian burial ground or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
I mean, to the extent that our entire country isn't an Indian burial ground.
That notwithstanding, as far as we know, there's no undead turkey looking for you to this day.
I don't think there's any turkey ghosts following me around. But I had totally forgotten about that incident, and now I sort of remember.
Holy shit!
I think I just blacked it out because it was super embarrassing.
Wow.
Which is why I'm really glad that we're recording.
I was getting ready to talk about making the oyster dressing, but no, you stole the family bird and buried it in the backyard.
It had no meat on it except for what today I would realize no, that would have made such great stock.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. Well, that's... I don't know what to say.
I don't know. Should we take a break and regroup?
Okay, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. So, let's take a moment of silence...
for the turkey.
For Alli's turkey memorial, and we'll come back after this break and try and regroup and talk about some more interesting shit. Thanks.
Down the field, a Lions team that will not yield. And when the blue and silver wave, you stand and cheer the brave. Rah, rah, rah! And win the game. With honor you will keep your fame. So down the field and gain a Lions victory.
Okay, all right, so we're back. We're recovering.
We're back!
From the bombshell, well, the double bombshell. First of all, there's the fact that Alli stole a turkey and buried it in the backyard.
I didn't steal it. I just...
What do you mean didn't steal it?
It wasn't going to be you. My mom was going to throw it away.
You liberated the turkey.
Yeah.
It was dead.
I gave it a dignified burial.
Buried in the backyard. Okay, so there's that. But also we're recovering from the horror that is the Detroit Lions fight song, which we'll share with you as soon as we get some audio on it. We'll do that for you.
Yep. And I thought this was a song so corny it could only be from the 90s. Turns out it's from the 1930s.
Oh, is that what it's from?
The 1930s.
Whoops, I got beer everywhere.
When the team became a part of Detroit, the owner called for a fight song, and the Wayne State University director of bands, Graham T. Overgard, who was also the Lions' director of entertainment,
Graham T. Overgard,
penned the lyrics and music to Gridiron Heroes, the victory song of the Detroit Lions.
So first of all, Graham T. Overgard is a 20th century name.
Yeah.
Okay. Barely.
Right, okay. and not a villain of the 19th century British Empire.
Right. He didn't face off with Sherlock Holmes and anything.
No.
Right? Graham T. Overgard. But, second of all, with the YouTube video that we saw of this was from a more recent Detroit Lions game. It looked like
they play it after every Lions touchdown in Ford Field.
Oh my god!
It is called Gridiron Heroes.
It's one of
it's terrible.
It's new to me. It's not. It's obviously not new, but it's new to me, and it almost immediately runs up to on your list of all time most terrible NFL team fight songs. But with the exception of the asterisk we can give it is that it's from another time. It's from, it's very marching bandy, and
but it's
kind of
from an era in which LSU produced some of what I think is the greatest marching band music in all of college football.
That's because Huey Long spent a lot of money
exactly
to make that happen.
Tell the people about this, Jeff.
Well, you tell the people about this. You're probably going to do a little bit better job. I know Huey went out and hired a band director.
Yes,
but I don't know. I don't have the guy's name in front of me right now.
I don't either. You're the one who told me about it in the first place.
Okay, well, unless we want to play Jeff and Alli look stuff up on the internet for another 5 minutes, the quick and dirty version of this is that Huey Long, when he was governor, decided he was going to make Louisiana State University one of his showcases. Unlike what we do nowadays, where the governors who want to make themselves a name on the national stage go about destroying public education,
right,
in order to impress people. This was the time when the governors would actually build up the public institutions and show them off, around the country. And Huey Long, created. He went out and hired a band director who is a famous person whose name I do not remember because I'm a lowly Louisiana State University educated person who stayed in Kirby Smart Hall. But he created some of the fantastic marching band music that you can hear at the LSU games today, and they're, it's good shit. Unlike the Detroit Lions fight song, which is, well, you're going to have to hear it to understand this. But the reason that I said that it doesn't qualify as the worst ever, is because it is still kind of its era. Like, it's got that,
it's got that back and forth kind of feel.
Something like that.
Yeah, that thing.
It's not quite Hail to the Blanks, but it's in that vein.
Don't bring the University of Michigan into this.
No. That's Hail to the Victors.
Right.
I was. We're talking about NFL teams, and I was going to say
Castro Carrazzo was the name of the band director that Huey Long hired.
There you go.
Yeah. He was the former orchestra leader at the Roosevelt Hotel in New Orleans.
There you go. He was a music professional. Like, he was. We were going to give it some. What is the word? Is it zazz? I don't know,
but they came up with the Touchdown for LSU song, which is part of I think that's the Four Corners salute. Mm-hmm. So that's where it came from. The Roosevelt Hotel. Thanks, Huey. It's the best. Speaking of LSU, we still have our coach.
Oh my God.
Because you come at the king, Joel Ava, you best not miss. And Les Miles is the king. He's the king. Tiger Athletic Foundation couldn't bring him down. Great day in the morning.
Did this actually happen the way we perceive it as having happened?
Did
it happen in the style of like a terrible after school theater?
Yes.
It was like watching the movie Major League, for example.
It was exactly the plot of Major League.
It was. Is that really what happened?
Yes. There was an article today in Baton Rouge Business Report that confirms. That King Alexander, the university president, said the decision was not made until halftime of the Texas A&M game. They didn't.
And the Grinch's heart grew 3 times that day.
Yes.
This is typical. Speaking of Huey Long, this is typical populist Louisiana old style shit.
Boy, is it ever! Les Miles is the true heir to the Kingfish.
Apparently. It's this,
He had kids climbing on him and telling him how much they love him, and they had, he had the whole crowd whipped up. It was masterful. I love Les Miles, by the way. I have officially endorsed Les Miles for the head coach of Louisiana State University and Agricultural and Mechanical College. I just want to be real clear about that.
There we go again, racking up favors.
Yep.
I have a list of favors that we are owed, by the way.
Team Les, right here.
Alli now needs some kind of a job with the LSU athletic department, which basically has all the money also. They have all the money. So there it is. Alli is endorsed the powers that be at LSU.
No, I endorse Les Miles.
He is the powers that be now.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
He was just...
He just deposed Joe Leva and the entire Tiger Athletic Foundation.
I wouldn't say he was democratically elected. He was more. It was more like a Latin American popular coup or something, but it was
It was a failed coup.
it was a failed. Yeah, it was something like that. It was a popular uprising.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a democratic election because it wasn't. It just wasn't that organized.
No. But contrast this to what happened at Georgia, where they kept it real quiet all season long, and then just at the last second, final bell, Sunday morning, everyone in Georgia's at church or at the Golden Corral, and they decide to fire Mark Richt.
At the Golden Corral. You're right.
And then they hired Kirby Smart.
Another Kirby.
What's
up with these nefarious Kirbys roaming about the landscape, by the way?
I don't know.
Kirby Smart is another Sabanite, right?
He's the current defensive coordinator, but he's a former Georgia player, so people are real. Well, I will say I don't understand why the university would be so excited about him, because as the guys on Shutdown Fullcast pointed out, Kirby has never talked to the media ever. He's been chained to a radiator by Nick Saban for 10 years or however long he's been there. He has no head coaching experience.
Yeah.
It's going to be real interesting.
Also, Saban defensive coordinators don't have a great track record as head coaches in the SEC.
They don't. It's a pretty short, stumpy coaching tree of Nick Saban's.
I wanted to, yeah.
I don't know. But now Mark Richt is going to be the head coach at the University of Miami, which is his alma mater. So I think that's easily the best hire anybody's made this offseason. It's kind of like a Mark Richt fell off the turnip truck in Coral Gables, and they were like, "Oh wow, look at this!"
So I'm interested that you bring this up because obviously there's a comparison to be made between the way things were handled at LSU and the way things were handled at Georgia.
Yes,
at LSU they were handled terribly, horribly unprofessionally. They got out of hand, and the coach at the last minute was saved by the people, because they knew about it and because they were angry enough to get out and make signs and
all
yell.
These Taft boosters thought, I'm going to kill this guy in the media and get all these people on my side. And then it turns out that
didn't work.
It didn't work. It actually, had they done it quietly and, with a sharp jab and just gotten it over with, everyone would have been sad, but they probably would have been like, okay, well, it was probably time, which is exactly how Georgia reacted.
That's how, right. So is that the right thing, though? Is it...
No, I'm kind of glad that they screwed it up so badly because I really like Les Miles. So,
so that's what I'm saying.
I think he's crazy, and LSU is crazy, and it's you don't find a better match than that in sports than Les Miles at LSU. I just think it's wonderful. I love him. He's the best.
So Georgia does it by the book. And they kind of they maybe
next time we should get Engineer Pat on the radio to talk about the stuff going down at Georgia for all of our 2 listeners interested in what's happening at the University of Georgia.
I haven't heard Engineer Pat take face to face, but I've seen some of it and I can imagine the rest of it, and I know that he's not happy.
No, he's not happy.
So, so it's interesting to me that Georgia does everything by the book, exactly the way you handle this situation when you're trying to dismiss your coach.
Yeah.
You don't talk about it too much, and then you professionally let him go at the end of the year. And LSU does everything the wrong way, and they get beaten in the PR scramble at the end in a country fair shootout slugfest or whatever. By doing everything wrong, they make what we think may be the right decision.
Yeah,
which is kind of nuts, right?
And so Louisiana
is very much so, very much so.
Now, Jeff, you've made a joke in the past about all of the leaders' names that were in various positions of power in the state when you started at LSU. It's like the coach was Curly.
I got it wrong though.
Oh, okay.
But because this is actually a few years before I got there. But it works either way. Here's what it was when I got to LSU. This is what I thought was going on. The governor's name.
Big Crusader taught you the wrong thing.
No, this isn't what it is. It's I misremembered, but it's funny either way, and I'll explain. So the joke is when I got to LSU in 1992. the joke I made was that the governor was Buddy, the mayor of Baton Rouge was named Tom Ed, the chancellor of LSU was named Bud, and the coach was named Curly.
Curly.
It's hilarious, but that's the most LSU thing you can think of. But it's also not exactly necessarily true. It turns out, in fact, the governor's name at the time was Edwin.
Right. Okay.
It still works.
Yeah.
Edwin, who had succeeded Buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we go Buddy to Edwin. Then we went to Mike. But Mike is actually...
Not Michael. Mike.
But his given name is Murphy. So,
really?
Yeah. So that works. And then from Murphy, we went to Meemaw.
Yeah.
So then you go... So you go... What was it again? It was Buddy, Edwin, Meemaw... No, Murphy, Meemaw... And then after Meemaw...
Was Bobby.
Bobby, but actually Piyush, which is unusual, but not, necessarily, he changed it to Bobby.
Yeah.
So...
He goes by Bobby.
This
has bugged me for a while. Like, he goes by Bobby. People want to call him Bobby. It's fine.
I'm fine with it.
I'm fine. Like, I don't...
I'm talking about names.
Yeah. So. I just don't like the whole, like, oh, well, that's not his real name. And it's like, well, he doesn't... But he goes by a different name. Whatever.
Okay, look at it this way, though. Either way, it's an aberration. I mean, it's either Piyush, which is a bit of a change in the trend.
Piyush? I don't actually know how you pronounce it.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
When we were never given the option.
Because he goes by Bobby.
We were never presented with the pronunciation. So it's either that, which is again, it's a veer off from Buddy, Edwin, Murphy, Meemaw. Or Bobby, which is kind of a veer off from that as well. But
now we're back to John Bel, which is perfectly within the pattern.
So we're back on track.
Oh, we're back. We're back, baby. Louisiana's back.
We're making Louisiana great again.
Yes, we are.
Or we're making it something.
So I mentioned the Shutdown Fullcast earlier when I was talking about they were talking about the coaching carousel and everything. And I just wanted to briefly bring this up because I tweeted something at them for inclusion in their podcast. And if you are a college football fan, you should be listening to their podcast. But they wanted questions about household chores, tomatoes, or Clemson. And I asked, and I tweeted at them that my husband keeps putting tomatoes in the refrigerator. Can you make them stop? And this turned...
Wait. Can you make him stop?
Yeah.
Was the question. Okay.
Can you please ask him to stop?
All right.
I don't remember exactly how I phrased it.
That's fine. Go ahead.
But they ended up using this question and they turned it into a whole segment about how keeping tomatoes in the refrigerator is bad. And I obviously agree, and I'm deeply gratified if Spencer or Ryan or Jason happens to be... They're not listening to this. But thank you for telling my husband to not put tomatoes in the refrigerator.
And what is the reason that it's not a good idea to put tomatoes in the refrigerator?
Because it kills the flavor. There's a chemical compound in tomatoes that when it gets below a certain temperature, it turns off like a light switch. And it makes them mealy and flavorless. Like a
tomato was meant to be, right? No.
Like, why the hell are you putting it on your sandwich anyway? And so, in Pat's defense, he only puts...
To make the mayonnaise more toothsome.
There's that. He only puts the tomato in the fridge once he's sliced off a piece, because he buys these big tomatoes and slices off one for a sandwich, and then puts the rest in a container, and then puts it in the fridge.
Oh, okay, so the tomatoes actually sit out. In fact, I'm looking at one now.
There is one, yeah, because we're recording it at my house.
Yeah, we're recording to you, by the way. This is the Irish Doghouse in beautiful downtown Mid-City. I meant to mention that at the top, and I had a whole joke about it, but all right, go ahead.
But we're here. And so I'm of the opinion that if you want to put tomatoes on a sandwich in such a manner as you don't want to, like, for example, eat 5 tomato sandwiches as a mayonnaise vehicle while standing up at your counter in the middle of summer, which is one of the greatest food experiences, I think, in the world, just eating a plate full of tomato sandwiches.
Right.
In such a case, you would use an entire tomato. But if you just want to eat a week of turkey sandwiches and you want 1 slice of tomato on each sandwich, I think you should buy small tomatoes so that you can cut it into smaller pieces and put maybe like 4 small slices on your tomato, and then you don't have to refrigerate anything. That's how I feel about it.
So-
Because tomatoes don't belong in the fridge.
So the dispute actually is about a sliced tomato and not, just a tomato that you bought at the store.
Well, apparently, the problem is worse than I imagined, because apparently some people actually take the whole damn tomato and put it in the fridge right from the get-go.
Yeah, I've heard of this.
That's ruining. It's just it's terrible. Of course, same people also probably buy a tomato in December, which is just gross. Don't do that.
You
It's
need
terrible.
tomatoes. What are you going to do? You specifically need tomatoes to make turkey sandwiches.
I mean, I don't think you do.
Okay.
I wait till the Creole tomatoes come in season, and then I make tomato pie and I eat tomato sandwiches, and they're delicious.
You need tomatoes. You need tomatoes for your turkey sandwiches.
Pat does, for sure.
It's a thing.
He likes it, so.
I don't disagree with that.
But you put tomatoes in the fridge.
I do. But I do it. I do it knowingly. Like I agree. I know for a fact that they taste like shit if you put them in the fridge. But I also know that if I bring a tomato home and put it on the counter and let it sit, 2 things are going to happen. One, it's not going to get used until after it's gone bad.
Okay.
2, it's going to melt and fall apart, and the person who lives with me is going to be very unhappy with that, and will in fact have been nervous from the moment that I left it out of the fridge.
Okay.
And so, do
you leave any produce at all out on the counter?
Satsumas,
Okay.
yeah, and bananas,
Yeah.
because I can hide them from her. I put them behind the coffee machine. And just
I have a bowl of satsumas right there, that blue bowl.
Yeah, I see them.
Yep.
They look nice.
Yep. But we keep onions and garlic and all sorts of stuff out on the counter.
No, I keep onions and garlics out. And for whatever reason, she's okay with that. I had to win a long, extended court battle over whether or not we should put bread in the refrigerator.
I'm in the middle of this battle right now.
Oh.
I think... Well, and see, here's the problem. We live in a hot, humid, disgusting place, and in the winter, you can leave it out on the counter and it'll last longer, but in the summer, it'll go moldy quicker. So in the summer, maybe you have to put it in the refrigerator, whereas in the winter, you can keep it out on the counter. Because, I don't know about your place, but this one is drafty and terrible.
I just leave it out because it's bread.
Right. I would prefer to leave it on the counter. Pat likes to put it in the fridge. This is an ongoing thing.
So we listened to the Shutdown Fullcast, and what they said was that it has to do with this era in which every housewife was told, they were instructed from on high, that
in their home ec classes in public high schools,
right, that everything needs to be contained within the refrigerator, because otherwise it will be exposed to bacteria, and now you can hide everything there. And this is very much the school that Menkels comes out of, because I don't know if you've ever been to Baltimore, but the people there basically live like they have come from the 1950s.
Yeah,
and,
I've heard this. And
so that's their mindset anyway, and that's how they're all raised there still. So you get a lot of that. So it's a lot for me to get food stored outside of the refrigerator at home, and that's the recipe minute.
Anyway, if you're interested in hearing more about fights about tomatoes, listen to the latest episode of the Shutdown Fullcast.
Yeah, sure. There are a couple of things I wanted to mention. One, just as before we get out of here, I don't know if you saw this week, but Steve Spurrier wrote a letter.
I did
explaining
see that.
Why he left and everything.
Yeah.
One of the things that he said was that it's probably a good thing to fire football coaches.
Yeah.
And because the turnover is good for them and blah, 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 blah. And I just thought if you were in the context of whether or not you should fire Les Miles, or in the context of whether or not you should fire Rob Ryan, or in the context of whether or not we should fire Sean Payton because people are on that train now.
Mid-season?
Well, not mid-season, but they're,
Yeah, NFL coaches don't really get hired mid-season, or fired mid-season.
Oh, that's happened before. Come on, man. Did you didn't grow up watching the Lions. You just know the song, right?
No, I grew up watching the Lions.
Okay, so you've seen football coaches fired before.
Yeah.
It'll happen in
Although I gave up on the Lions when Barry Sanders retired. So that was when I said I'm done. And then I was in an NFL agnostic period until the 2006 season, and then I joined the Saints fandom before it was cool.
Slightly
before it was cool.
Before it was cool. Good job.
I stood in my apartment in South Bend, Indiana, and I said, "I'm gonna do this. I'm on board. I'm fully on board." And then Steve Gleason blocked the punt, and it was amazing.
Okay.
So,
all right.
So I said,
you were actually not in.
I
New
had
Orleans.
declared before God and no one else who was in my apartment that I was on board with the Saints.
Okay.
And then Steve Gleason blocked the punt.
All right, we'll accept that. The committee will accept that one.
Thanks.
The point I was making is that Steve Spurrier is on the side of firing these motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Like, just, if you're done with your football coach, boot
He
him
probably
out.
wishes he'd been fired from the Redskins a little sooner.
Probably so.
Excuse me, the Washington football team. I'm sorry, I didn't want to say it out loud.
They're another team with that was the team I was mentioning before when we were talking about fight songs.
Oh, okay.
That you didn't quite get. Because you can hail to them or to the Michigan people.
The Pigskins.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just wanted to mention that because the other thing I wanted to mention was that this week I was walking down Magazine Street and I was honked at and noticed the official vehicle of Magnolia Builders.
Oh!
Because
they were out there building it better.
They were building it better.
Aw.
Magnolia Builders is a sponsor of the Hunker Downcast. And if you see them out there, just know that they're not honking at you to be mean. They're honking at you to say, hello, we're building it better because we build it better. Because we honk better. I don't know. Anyway,
they're honking at Hunker Downcast listeners everywhere.
Or something like that.
Get ready. People get ready.
So,
all right, should we close this out?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're trying to finish this thing in under an hour, and I think we did a good job this time.
Hey!
All right.
We're going to try and do that on every episode from now on.
No. Really?
Yeah.
All right. Good luck.
We're gonna, well, we do what the people want.
All right.
So thanks everybody for listening. You can tweet at us at HunkerDowncast. You can email us at hunkerdowncast@gmail.com, although I haven't checked it in a while. I hope we haven't got any emails. You can go to our website, hunkerdowncast.com. It has all our old episodes. It has our show notes. It has some fun graphics. You can tweet at us individually. Jeff is at Skooks. Varg is at Varg Vargas. I'm at Allison_DeYoung. And we'll be back hopefully next week.
And next week we might even not be Freebird again. Varg will be back hopefully. If not, we're going to do Freebird or free chicken stuffed in a turkey stuffed in a buried in the backyard turducken thing.
Yeah.
Whatever.
We're gonna get the turkey ghost on the show, or we'll get Pat on to talk about Georgia, and we'll do some other fun things. So let us know what you want to hear on the Hunker Downcast. If there's anything you want us to talk about, or anything, any fun thing you want us to do, we'll come to your party and interview you. Whatever you want.
There you go.
Yeah.
Get in touch with us. We'll get in touch with you. And thanks again for listening, everybody. And that's all we got this week.